What did you learn about yourself this year?
I guess I learned I'm more open than I thought I was. I was not as happy, I wasn't as talkative as I am now.
I actually learned a lot about myself in this year. I am understanding a little bit more how to accept other people for who they are or their personalities in general.
I think that I learned that I really can succeed if I try. I think I learned that I'm more creative than I thought.
I'm very unique person. It's just, I haven't been able to unleash it because of personal problems. And now that I've found a group of people who can appreciate me for who I am, I can finally become myself.
I learn a lot better when I'm working at my own pace. Like, up at the high school, you're only going as fast as the slowest student. And for somebody like me, that was like a snail's pace. I was crawling through school and I didn't do any of the work because it felt useless and pointless to me because we were doing the same thing over and over and over again. So my grade was suffering and I knew the material. I knew everything that I was doing. I just didn't do any of the homework because it seemed pointless. Especially since I got to choose my own things to do as far as taking control of my own learning. I have probably done the best in school this year, more than I have in any other school year.
I've learned that I can get along with people that I felt like I wouldn't get along with, such as people with completely different points of view, completely different belief systems. I've also learned, it's kind of about other people, but I've also learned I'm not alone, which is definitely a good thing. I was getting pretty lonely there for a while.
I'm learning to let go of control of my classroom. I'm learning to let it be my students' classroom and each student's individual classroom instead of it being my classroom. It's not my school, it's our school. It's not, you need to learn this, it's what do you want to learn.
What have you learned about your students?
I've learned that they have interests that I didn't know about. I'm learning that they are trustworthy and that I need to trust them to make their own choices and succeed or fail. That everything you do is a learning activity. Every task we do, whether it's having community time and having visitors come in and you teach them how to play D&D, or how to cook Alfredo, or how to be in an internship, how to be a professional.
When I try to learn something and it's really boring, I don't get into it, so I'm just I look forward to having the lessons because I'm just oh, what we gotta learn today. School should be fun. School should be very, very fun. Not you have to do this right now. But
I agree. Describe big picture learning to someone who knows nothing about it.
I always tell people is that it is competency and project based, which means our students are not taking specific classes, earning grades or credits, that it's totally individualized for each student, and that each student is selecting their own goals, working towards their own vision of who they are, what they want to learn, and who they want to be.
Doesn't focus so much on making kids pass and assigning them a number and getting them through the system, but more along the lines of helping them grow as a person.
Instead of being forced into a regiment, it's more of you go out and discover what you want to learn and you discover yourself along the way. It's very helpful. It's helped me greatly because in the normal education system I wasn't thriving. In big picture, I feel like can be a decent student.
Instead of being sitting there like cattle in a school, you can have the freedom to choose whether or not to do stuff instead of being ridiculed for half the choices you do make in life. Where here the learning is more free and expanded a little instead of more pressured. It's supposed to give you a better chance of learning without the hassle and the feeling of going to school, because now I don't have that feeling anymore of, God, it's school, it's I'm learning something now.
It's basically almost all up to you to decide what you're gonna learn and what you're gonna do, like, in your actual life. It makes me actually want to learn, to want to come to school every day, not just being like, oh gosh, we gotta go to class, you know? It's like a job. Like, don't go to a job that you hate, you know? Because you'll like your job more if you do something that you like doing.
I really enjoy it because I'm learning things that actually are relevant in today's day.
For me, it's more learning things that I need to know for life. Like the other day we were working on loans, how to do loans, buying a car, you know.
And it's an approach that makes it easier for me specifically, probably because I kind of have some ADHD things going on, but it makes it easier for me because I can get real worked up on one project, get a lot of it done, and then feel like, wait, hold on, I'm burned out on this project, and then I can go do something else.
With restorative justice that we're doing, I really like it because it really makes people own up to their mistakes, and also helps other people see why they did a thing or why they acted in a certain way. We don't expel or suspend people because that's just sending them away and then they're going to come back and do the same thing over again. And so that's not helping with anything.
I think that I do things without thinking all the time. And I think it helps me more to better in the future not to make the same mistakes if I'm actually talking about it and understanding why I did it in the first place. So I think it's great.
I think that kids get to open up and share in a way that they've never been allowed to before. They've learned quality listening skills. When we've had problems, we have students speaking up and saying, you know, this isn't okay.
The circles that we have and the questions that we ask every morning, and you just open up to everybody, and so you feel really connected to everybody, and it's like, it's worth it. Sometimes we'll do like accountability circles occasionally when everybody's like having a bad week or it's really hectic, and then we take responsibility and accountability for all the things that we've done. And I like it because it brings out the bad side of people, but it also in the end brings out all the good, because they're like, I did this, I know I did this, and I want to say I'm sorry for doing this. And that's a lot better than being like, go to the office and fill out a piece of paper and get suspended for a couple days, because you're just like, I'm a human being. But here you have to open up and actually talk to the people that were harmed, and then you're like, dang, I feel bad, so you don't really want to do it again.
It looks like people opening up and becoming tolerant and understanding each other, you know. But like I know I rag on their traditional high school, but nobody knew each other. There wasn't time for relationships to thrive. It was, you know, hey, look, you're put into a giant building that looks like a prison for 7 hours a day to, you know, do stuff. I have a whole rant, and I'm not going to go into it. I just think it's a horribly flawed system that needs to be reworked for the next generation. At Big Picture and Restorative Justice, this has allowed me to see the world how I want to learn it.
Frankly, I think it's a wonderful thing. A lot of schools should be doing this because this helps keep peace within classrooms. It helps keep peace within students. And frankly, it just helps keep the mind moving about questions that need answering and that are the hard ones that can't be answered.
had to have a restorative conference. So I kind of got thrown right into the middle of it. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. I started realizing that this restorative justice thing, this thing that I thought was just a bunch of coasties figuring out what us over here on this side of the mountain's got to do, just like everything. And then I started diving deeper into it. I'm like, wait, hold on. This is how it should be. Because there was a couple times, I'm gonna be honest, I was being a massive dick to people. Like, and I wasn't aware of it. And then Chelsea had a conference with me, and she was like, Cameron, this is a problem. If it was a normal school, I would suspend you. And I'm like, is it that big of a problem? She was like, yeah, it's that big of a problem. Okay. So we had a conference about it. Everybody who was hurt by me came in, and it turns out it was just about everybody in the school. And since then, I've been able to realize that instead of being suspended or getting detention for weeks on end, getting a feel for how I affected people kind of just made me want to watch myself more and try to stop those behaviors that negatively affected those people. If you're hesitant about the big picture thing, and the RJ thing, if you want to incorporate RJ in big picture combo, it's like sour cream and onion chips, pretty good. I was very hesitant about it at first, but I'm very happy that I decided to stay in the school. Start of the year, I was very, cold and unfeeling, and slowly I've started to connect more with myself and realize I've got issues, and I need to acknowledge the fact that I have issues, and I need to work on not coping, but I need to work on myself, and that's what I love about it.
I've learned more about myself. I've learned more about my students. I've learned to relearn to love my job and my students again.
Just don't be afraid to be yourself. Put yourself out there. If you want to be yourself, be yourself.